This episode is brought to you by Munton's Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Munton's has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Munton's offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Munton's malt. You know, we've known the Munton's crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Munton's malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Munton's, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Line cleaning tips, best gear for 5-gallon batches, and a bunch of rapid-fire questions, too. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 421. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, watching at YouTube or listening, as most of y'all do, if you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you can email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. You can text our hotline, but even better, what you're going to do, you get up your phone, touch tone dial to 325-305-6107. And when I use your voicemail question on a future episode, you get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. Doesn't get much better than that. I am one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing, joined as always by the director of cmbecker.com over there, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the chief keg washer of Keg Connection LLC, Mr. Todd Burns. Gentlemen, it's freezing. It is freezing cold this week, and James is in short sleeves. You never manage to impress me with your masculinity. I am Todd objectively has the most winter reserves. What's the nice way of saying body weight? Todd has the most to survive on, but I have the most per capita body hair of mass. And I come in there frequently when I'm up at headquarters to do like recipes or whatever, and I'm wearing bundles and bundles and even a huge coverall. And James walks in and maybe pants, I mean shorts, but maybe
pants. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it did sound terrible. That's why I clarified. If not long pants, at least shorts and a short sleeve shirt. And what is it there right now? It's like 18 degrees in Comanche. What is it?
That's a balmy 22 according to my computer.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I'm surprised that they got over 20. When I was home a while ago, it was 14 still.
Yeah, I haven't shared that clip yet because you didn't say I could. Todd sent us in the group chat. You got his well froze, or the pump froze, or I don't know the semantics of it, but running water was not available. And then Todd got a keg of potable water from the office, I'm assuming is what you brought it from.
Yeah. It is still 18 at my house. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised you didn't use a CO2 cylinder. You didn't want to waste CO2. You made Liz.
Well, I don't want carbonated
pump.
water.
Oh, got you. Okay, so that makes more sense. That really does. I was laughing because I was like, he doesn't want to use his CO2 to make running water. But no, that makes much more sense. You're not trying to.
It would have carbonated fast. That water was cold. It was out in my garage.
Yeah, it would have infused very quick. But yeah, he sent us a video of his wife doing dishes of all things with hand pumping the keg and then using a picnic tap. I loved it. I laughed for a solid minute. I thought it was great. But anyway, I hope. Did you even get the running water thing fixed, or is that not going to happen until the weather improves?
So I got the well working, but I couldn't get hot water. I couldn't get water at the house or at the at my mother-in-law's apartment, but I have water at the barn.
Perfect. Okay, but not you. But it can make hot water. Your water heater is working out there
at the barn. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you did also show us putting a keg next to the fire in your living room, the fireplace.
I mean, I was confused why you were asking me if I had a hot water heater. I sent you a picture of it.
I'm going to put it right now on the screen so people can see what I'm laughing at, which is wild because the way we've been recording episodes and stuff, we're recording this, but it's not publishing until a week later. So people, next week, I don't know the forecast in Texas, but it's probably going to be 80 degrees. And people will be like, what is he talking about? It wasn't cold.
Why a week later?
I got ahead because you and James are only doing every other week. And so whenever that initialized, I was already ahead. When I
initialized?
I corrected myself. Initialized. I was an English major before dropping out. Remember that, my friend. But I got, when I did the interview thing with my pop is when I think I got a week ahead. Because the week before I had a guest who we're now rescheduled for like June. So spoiler, whoever I interview in June, you'll be like, that's the person who got sick on Josh in January. Yes. But
initialized is a word.
Oh, is it really?
Yep. It means to set something to a starting position, value, or confirmation. So you used it correctly.
Yeah, I know. I was an English major before dropping out. Anyway, we are, though, happy to have y'all. I will keep the actual relevant small talk short. Don't have a ton to go on. It is the last call right now, though, guys. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier and get the London Porter shipped out to you. How many days? I think this is... We only have a couple more days. If you're watching this live or the day we publish it, you've only got a few more days to join the Trub Club, get it shipped out to you. And again, thank you to our sponsors, Munton's Malt, Hopstrat.com, and of course, Imperial Yeast for always providing the premium ingredients that make these kits as good as they are. And then I don't have a screen up. Oh, wait, I don't need a screen up for Brew Day Live because Brew Day Live is in the past now. I can assure y'all, my dad and I had a great time on Saturday the 22nd. And you could go watch that at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. We had a blast. We brewed. It was smooth. Nothing happened. I'm just trying to set myself up. So if something really bad does happen during the Brew Day, people will be like, liar. I saw that. One more piece of exciting news before getting into the show. Kolsch Cup 2025 registration is open. I announced it last week on our Instagram, already up to 10 registrants out of the 40. So don't miss out. Go to kolschcup.com, or you could just go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on Kolsch Cup at the top. It's the exact same page. And we are very excited. We don't have a firm date only because I haven't asked James. Todd wants to do it on the 30th. Does that work for you? Of May, pardon me. May 30th.
Yeah, I mean, whatever date is fine.
Okay, I knew it would be that. So
my weekends are free now, so
so I didn't put it up on the screen because I forgot to ask you before making that graphic. But also, too, to be fair, I don't know how much Todd cares about me divulging this info. We might have to reschedule if Todd books his barn for Airbnb. And Todd is now a host. Can I say that, or do you not want that? I can.
Oh no, that'd be great. I'd love for people to come stay. We might even At some point, I'd even like to do some kind of a brew thing there. So
we have talked about that. I mean, remember I put that in your ear in 2020, and then COVID stuff happened, and we couldn't test it that year. And then every year since, we've had other fires to have to draw our attention to. But I had at one point managed ultimatebrewday.com to try to build up marketing material. And I think I just let it go, the website. But either way, we might have to change the date. If I can guarantee you, Todd, if you did a booking for that weekend, you're going to prioritize that over my Kolsch Cup. So
we can always have it here.
We could, exactly. That's what I was going to say. We could always, we're very flexible. And if we did it at the office, we could at least live stream reliably.
Yeah, we got a lot of bandwidth.
A lot of That's what the one thing I'm always impressed is I go there and I do the download test and it's like, okay, 80, that's not great. That's not bad. It's not great. But then the upload is it's a 1-for-1. It's 80. I'm like, oh my God, we could live stream in 6K. We could do it. But either way, Kolsch Cup, my friends, go to where's the screen? There we go. KolschCup.com. Register today. All the details are available there. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. But best is to just text me at the 325-305-6107 hotline, and I get back to you a lot quicker because I'm addicted to my cell phone. So I do believe that is all the relevant small talk that I have. With that being said, before we get into the questions,
it's time for listener feedback.
I have to say I'm a huge fan of Marty from Omaha, and most times when he calls in, I want to play him. I've had to space it out because he's been calling in a lot lately, but it's been a while, so I took a listener feedback listener feedback voicemail from our buddy Marty from Omaha.
Hi. Hey, Josh. This is Marty from Omaha. Just calling in with a concern. I'm no conspiracy theorist guy. I've never been abducted by aliens, and I don't believe Bigfoot exists. But I just don't feel good about these multiple contest wins by Jonathan. I mean, I'm sure he's a top-notch brewer, but I'm wondering if the government should be called in to investigate this or something. Hey, hold on a minute. Hey, brother, what are you doing here? And why are you ripping your T-shirt? Because there's something not right. With that happy hour podcast and their beer judging. Now you just settle. I'm leaving Josh a message right now. Then give me that phone. Listen here, little dude. I'm calling you out. Wrestling is real, but I'm not sure how real your world championship beer contests are. I might just have to fly down there and check things out myself. So get trained up on your fancy jujitsu. Better yet, I will get my boy Marty here to throw down and submit a beer and win. Okay, you said your piece. Now just get out. You haven't heard the last of this, brother.
Oh my God.
Sorry about that, Josh. I've never entered a contest before, so don't listen to him. But maybe you could give us some tips on how to package and ship beers across the country. Sorry about all that. I do enjoy your show and the brotherly love and teasing you guys share. I'll let you know when I finalize the dates of the Mountain Dew Jack Daniels World Championship cocktail contest and conference. I think we're going to call it the Jack Dew Con. So, happy holidays.
Oh, God. Yeah. Obviously, that was early December he left that. It's so stupid that I had to play it. I'm not going to lie, though. I did not realize that he had a question built into that about shipping and stuff. Crafty Shippers, I think, is the website. I'll keep it short. Crafty Shipping or Crafty Shippers. We love that guy's products if you're doing bottles. That's my recommendation. And of course, obviously, if you have to declare what's in it, tell them it's yeast samples. Live yeast samples is all they need to know. I still don't think it's legal to ship beer into Texas. It might be. I have no idea. We just say live yeast samples. But either way, I love that. And yeah, we've actually had people who were more serious question the legitimacy of our judging. And you know what, guys? Question away. I purposefully kept everything anonymous from those guys. And if y'all rewatch me telling them, the name when I don't know if you guys remember when I said, "Oh God, y'all aren't going to believe this. Who y'all picked as the winner?" And y'all both were absolutely surprised. You had no idea he was.
Yeah, it's all done blind, so we have no idea.
I was the only one, and it's funny enough, I was dissenting on the order of who I think would. You know what I mean? Like it just was funny, like being accused. I was the only one who could have known it was Jonathan, but this year I did a good job of keeping the names list separate. So that way I did see it at once, but I don't memorize stuff. I can't tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday. That's a lie. I had an omelet. Every time I'm home, I try to have an omelet. So, but anyways, Marty, thank you so much for the feedback. I did hit the gong because we've got 3 great questions, my friends. And the first one is a voicemail. It is our buddy, Nate from Oregon.
Hey guys, it's Nate from Oregon. I was hoping to hear about all things related to line cleaning. I know you guys sell a line cleaning kit on your site. I've never purchased one or used one myself. I'm probably long overdue, and I'm probably a lazy, sad brewer for never cleaning my lines. And I'm guessing it's probably making my beer taste weird. Just wondering if you guys could go through like a step-by-step of how line cleaning works. Do you recirculate it through there somehow? Does it sit in the line and you rinse it out? How often should we be cleaning it? And what are some signs if what are some things we should notice if we haven't cleaned our lines and maybe be a sign that it's time to clean it? Just don't know much about it, and would love to hear a very dumbed down version so I can understand what's going on. Great things about Josh, as always, and the rest of you guys are wonderful, and I look forward to this every week. You guys have a good day. Thanks. Bye.
Now, Nate's a longtime listener, so he knows the answer to how often. Todd is going to say, every 2 weeks. We got to do every 2 weeks. But I am going to
I don't even think y'all should be able to talk about this. You guys are
go for it.
Y'all are beer line cleaning losers. You'll never clean your lines.
It's true. I was going to throw it to you. I was going to just throw it to you.
I cleaned a line 2 days ago, and it was here in our office, and we have a new machine, and I was testing the machine out. So I hooked up some line cleaner. At first, I ran some clean water and circulated it through the line cleaning machine, and it was nasty. So I dumped that out, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna, now that it's nice and clean, I'll run the cleaner through there. I ran that through there. It came out completely brown again. So I was like, when was the last time anybody cleaned these lines? Like, I don't think we've ever cleaned this line.
I think actually I've just said years.
Years. Long years.
That's just wrong. So yeah, every 2 weeks is a schedule that bars and restaurants typically go by. I think some bars and restaurants may clean it even more often than that, but every 2 weeks is kind of what they usually go by. For home brewers, I usually will say, maybe every keg, if depending on how long your keg lasts. But you could get away. You can obviously get away with going more than 2 weeks, but you're asking for trouble. It's nasty. You got to clean your beer lines. Well, you guys need to clean your beer lines. Come on.
All I got to do is go in the warehouse, find a long enough tubing of the size I need, and take it when you're not looking.
Just replace it.
Yeah, duh. No, but
God. Yeah.
He did ask for a step by step, but he also then about watered down. The beer line cleaning kit, Cat Connection, arguably the greatest selling product of all time in the company's history. I would say it's thousands on just Amazon, much less the website, much less catconnection.com. Thousands. I don't even want to say tens of thousands, but I'd be comfortable saying tens of thousands sold. And one of the reasons, Todd, I think that they're selling so good is because of how stupid easy they are for people who need it watered down, the instructions, like me. Like I can use a beer line clean kit. I don't, but I could if I wanted to.
I'd totally do it, man.
I totally do it. But talk about, in my opinion, I think you should talk about how to use the beer line clean kit and why you do, as opposed to some other method of line cleaning.
Well, and even though I sell the beer line cleaning kit, I mean, if you're a home brewer and you have kegs, you can use a keg as well. So, what I do with my beer lines is I fill up a keg. I have a small keg, like 2.5 gallons. I fill that full of extremely hot brew clean. So I mix up brew clean. The instructions on how to mix it up are on the bag. I do it a little stronger when I'm doing lines, and I hook up each one of my lines to that, and I run the brew clean through it. For just turn it on for a little while, turn it off, run it through all, and then I let that sit for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then I come back and I run beer clean through it again. I let it sit again, and then when it stops coming out with any color in it, then I take that keg, I fill it full of clean water, and I run clean water through it. So the beer line cleaning kit works the same way, except you don't have to have a keg. So if you've got a most of those we sell are for commercial people that are cleaning their kegerator at home, and they buy beers at the store, and they have a Sankey D coupler, and it basically has a ball lifter in it, which is just a little thing that you push up and it stays in place into the bottom of the Sankey D. And what that does is it lifts that ball lifter out, because you got to remember that on a Sankey, on any kind of a coupler, the beer can only come out. You don't want stuff to come back in your keg, right? Which it really wouldn't, because it's under pressure, but it's possible if you lost pressure on your keg that you could actually drain crap back in the keg, and that would be nasty, right? So it lifts that ball lifter up so that you can go backwards from the way you usually do. And then you take the bottle, and it has a cap on it, and then it has a front that screws onto your faucet receptacle, the shank that comes out of either your tower or your Keyser or whatever you're using. So you take the faucet off, you screw this on, and it's like an IV. You hold it up in the air, you squeeze it, and you're doing the same thing. You're running liquid through there. And then what I do is, when the liquid's running through there well, I pull the ball lifter out and stop the flow, and I let it sit in the line. Same thing, just let it sit for a while, and then do the same thing again, and then clean water rinse, and you're done. I mean, it's pretty straightforward and simple. The only other part of the step is, regardless of which way you're doing it, as you're running that solution, you've got a bucket or something that's collecting it. I take the faucet apart, throw it in that bucket so that it's soaking in that solution while your lines are soaking. And then when you do it the second time, you get a little more in there. Just let it soak the whole time. And then when you do your final rinse, I just rinse it in the, under a water faucet, and get the faucet nice and rinsed, and you put it all back together. It also has a brush in there so that you can actually brush your faucet. So you can brush both ways, from the top down and from the inside. It depends on which faucet you have. They're all a little bit different, but you can even brush those components, get anything that may be sticking to them off. And then, you get it real clean, and then you've got nice, clean beer lines, and you're not tasting crap in your beer, and it's a wonderful life.
Hot brew clean is an incredible invention, and specifically for sticky things and beer stone. While I cannot claim I clean the beer lines, first off, the serving lines are at my pop's house. That's his responsibility. What am I supposed to do?
He cleans them probably, though. Your dad is a sanitary person, unlike some people on this podcast, and I think he cleans his beer lines.
He does. Right? That's what I was going to say. I'm not lying when I say I don't clean beer lines, but that's not meaning the beer lines I use are not being cleaned. They're not mutually exclusive. However, I do take initiative to do the cleaning on brew day for, like, especially the G40. And if we were kind of lazy and letting the drain basket sit for a while after taking the drains down to the chickens or whatever, that stuff sticks bad. So I try to scrub it as best as I can, but I can just fill up the drain father, heat it up to 130, 135, brew clean for an hour, scrub at the end of that hour, and then run clean water through it. And dude, that kettle is like brand new. My point being, brew clean's incredible. Hot brew clean solution goes a long way, especially soaking components like faucets and disconnects or whatever. I had a nasty event faucet here, and I thought I would just replace it when I bought the event faucet when I was up there last week. And I'm glad I brought the event faucet back, because I'm going to use it for a kombucha thing that I'm trying to get Mochas and Javas to buy from us. But I managed to just take apart the old one, soak it. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, now I have an extra one too so now I have a dedicated event faucet for beer, a dedicated one for water, and a dedicated one for kombucha. So life is good. But I did want to.
So I'm actually, I'm wearing a hat today. Y'all don't ever see me wear a hat on the podcast. That's because I haven't showered in 2 days because we lost our running water. So, I may actually do a brew clean bath this evening. Fill up a tub full of. It's because I might need to soak some areas.
It's gonna peel your skin. Yeah, no, it's just detergent, right? I mean, you could use brew clean's it's not a acid. It's not caustic. You could put it on your skin. It's not gonna hurt you. Let people know.
No, you wouldn't want to use acid beer line cleaner.
Correct.
That would be bad.
It would
get you very clean. It would get you very clean.
Would it help with the back hair? Is it like Nair? Is it? Hey,
I can't tell you, but I'm willing to pour some on you next time you're here if you want to try.
Oh, I know you are. One thing I will say: this is basically our 10-year anniversary show. I didn't do anything gimmicky besides take a crap ton of questions, like rapid fire, because Todd loves when we have more questions than me small talking. But one of the things I said in the group chat was, hey, for 10 years, for the 50th episode, I shaved my head or my beard or whatever it was, and for the 10-year episode, let's shave my beard and my eyebrows. And y'all both were like, deal, do it, yeah. You jerks, man.
And your head, right? You were going to shave everything.
I'm going to save that for me. 10 years. I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I love that this show has been operating for 10 years, but it's not 10 years worth of episodes. So I'll save this special stuff for actual, like episode 450 maybe in 30 weeks or episode 5. If we make it to 500, which I'm confident, if we make it to 500, that's worthy of something funny, like maybe narrowing my eyebrows or something. It'll be good. We'll figure it out. But yeah, happy 10-year anniversary to us. I forgot to say that at the top of the show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's an incredible feat. That Todd has kept me around for an extra 10 years. But I want to wrap up Nate's question and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Todd did give advice on using a keg for it. What is a beer line cleaning kit right now on It's $30, between 24 and 30 on any given retail.
I don't know. On our website, it's $29.95. On the Keg Connection website, it's $29.95.
And one reason I'm saying that it's totally worth it is because unless you are trying to do multiple taps at a time and you need to configure something, if you're just doing one at a time and it's less than 3, that's the easiest way to do it. And it comes with, I'm very proud of this. I might be biased because I made it. The instructional booklet that it comes with, a lot of people prefer text over video, but there's also QR code to watch a video doing it. It's just very thorough is what I'm
It's a very good instruction. You did a really good job on it.
It's very thorough, and I think that helps people like me when I get thorough instructions. And not every product we've ever sold on Keg Connection had thorough instructions, if instructions at all. And I've learned
and you don't even have to buy the kit. There's a PDF of that.
Correct.
On
Homebrew Happy Hour.
kegconnection.com.
Oh yeah, on the listing. Absolutely.
On the listing,
at kegconnection.com, go to the beer line. It's like CL302, I think is the listing number, the SKU. I should, or 321, just type in beer line cleaning kit.
It's 302.
It's 302.
Yeah,
okay.
There's even a beer line cleaning tip presented by Homebrew Happy Hour. Clean your beer line after each keg you finish dispensing or every 2 to 3 weeks for best results. I think
you wrote
there's
that.
A picture of all 3 of us on there. I think we should take the 2 of you off.
Yeah.
When we update the booklet, deal. I'll do it. I'll remove us both. Anyways, Nate, thank you so much for submitting that question. A reminder, friends, when you leave a voicemail like our buddy Nate did to 325-305-6107, you get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com that you can use towards buying a beer line cleaning kit. It doesn't get much better than that. Moving on. The alternative, you could always text that hotline or you could email me. But our second question comes from our buddy Landon, who did text us, and he wrote, "Hey Josh, cheers from Nevada. I discovered HBHH, that's Homebrew Happy Hour, on Spotify last year, and I'm still catching up on all the old episodes. Don't do that to yourself, Landon. I have a question for 5-gallon brewing. Do you all think a Herms system is the ideal way to brew, even if I'm only going to brew 5-gallon batches max? Do Herms really offer more control than a Brewzilla? I'm going to throw it to you, James, first, because I didn't give you a chance to answer the last question. But also, you of the three of us have the most extensive experience with a variety of brewing. You've brewed huge batches on that Big Bertha. You did little batches on an all-in-one Grainfather. You've done the mash and boil without recirculation. You've done cooler brewing, and now you are doing bigger batches on a Brautag 3-vessel Herms. What is your opinion for someone who knows for a fact right now in the foreseeable future they're only doing 5 gallons?
The Brewzilla is hard to beat. Yeah, and you can step mash just like you can a Herms. I just like the 3-vessel Herms. We're able to brew nearly 20 gallons at a time, and that's what I'm comfortable using. I can't make an argument to somebody that's been brewing on a Brewzilla forever that a Herm system's better, because in their mind it's not, because it's what you like.
Yep.
They're both efficient. You can step mash. You can control the temperatures of the mash, which is that's what's great about all-in-ones, is you can do the same thing. Only a suggestion I would make is if there's if there's a way to order it, and I haven't been on there in a while, but if you can get a 220, I think you will enjoy it more, because you won't have to wait as long for the temperature to heat up or to get into a boiling situation. And then Brewzilla offers, don't they offer a bigger?
I think they go all the way up to 70 liters to almost to 15-ish gallons. Yeah, I think they do. I know Grainfather
get as big a machine as you can, but no, they're a fantastic way to brew beer. Nothing wrong with the Brewzilla.
I was going to say, one of the, I think I said it on the interview with Charlie last week, but one of my favorite things about our dynamic on the show, or the three of us in general, and our answers is, you guys would die for the Brautag, especially like that, like the way y'all brew on it, you'll love it. You've got it dialed in, but you're also realist that you realize it's not for everyone, and whatever works for an individual is what they should keep doing. One reason my pop and I like the G40 a lot, well, there's probably a good list of reasons. The space it saves helps me out in my garage from having to take up too much real estate in there. But also the bells and whistles on machines now, guys, oh my gosh. I am so much more lazy because I can just program it in, and the Grainfather's like, hey, just letting you know I'm step mashing for you. I'm like, oh yeah, I would have forgot to do that. Thank you, Grainfather, for step mashing.
And I'm on the website with the Brewzilla, and it actually has Bluetooth.
Yes,
the
they do.
Version has Bluetooth on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
they definitely have a 220. I was looking at it too. So I agree with you, James. The 220 is the way to go.
Absolutely.
And they got one here. It's almost 10 gallons. It's 9.25 gallons, 220 volt, with the Wi-Fi. It includes a wort chiller. It's less than $600. So that's hard to beat.
I followed up with Landon because from his text, I had said, hey, thanks for writing in. And I asked him, do you already have a Brewzilla? And he said, no, I'm looking into it. And one thing I did pre-answer, because this was from 3 weeks ago, I pre-answered before taking it on the show, was I would get, even if you're convinced you're only going to do 5-gallon batches, I would get the one set up for like 10. That way you're future-proofing yourself for being able to yield a volume of boozier beer. Like if he hypothetically wanted to do a breakfast stout in 5 gallons, he could do it very comfortably 5 gallons on that 10-gallon Brewzilla or the 11 point, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a 17-gallon Brewzilla.
Yeah, so with the 9.25, that's to brew 5 gallons, right? Or did they make a smaller one?
Oh, I thought the smallest one was under that. I thought it was 7 points.
I'm looking on all of their all-in-ones, and it looks like the 9.25 is the smallest one I can see.
Then that's perfect. Yeah, he probably thinks I'm an idiot because I just assumed. I don't know the volume for the. Oh, I do know it's the G30 would be 30 liters, which is how many? I don't know how many gallons 30 liters is. Is that like 6 or 7 or 8?
Well, there's 3.7 liters per gallon. So if you said 4, then, it's going to be 4 divided by 30, which is what, Josh?
Dude, don't ask me to do math. How dare I'm gonna stop the recording. Get the calculator out. 7.5. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Why you cut me off? No, I didn't know. I was gonna stop recording, do it on here, and go, Todd. Obviously, it's this, and look like a smart guy. I don't do math. The best math I do is my change when I give them a 10, and it's like, oh, that'll be $9.70, and I look to my kid and I go, they should give me 30 cents back, and my kids are like, oh my God, Dad is so smart. But then no, I don't get the change back because they expect a tip. Anyways, we were talking about that before we were recording. I won't go down that rabbit hole right now. But yeah, for 5 gallon, I hate to say, like, Landon, don't limit yourself, but some people just know they're not going to do more than that. That base level Brewzilla. You're on the website, James. What does it start at? Is it still like 380, or
the cheapest one that they have is it's 389.
That's not bad
and that's the Gen 2 digital.
That's
but
not.
If you get the Gen 3 or Gen 4.1, that's got the Bluetooth, the pump, the chiller. It's actually on sale. It's out of stock for $549. So,
which is probably a little bit more than half of the cost of Grainfather's base 5 gallon brewing, which again, we don't get sponsored by them. At one point we were, and our buddy Matt Bowling over there loved them. Nothing's wrong with Brewzilla either, but I can personally vouch for Grainfather just because I use a G40. But
yeah,
nothing wrong with Brewzilla. They have great reviews. Mash and Boil, I can say that too. We've heard great things about them. We used to have a Mash and Boil. I think it's upstairs at the barn, maybe.
I think we sold all the all-in-ones.
We did. I know our buddy.
I know we have one at the barn. I see it all the time when I'm up there.
Okay, but I know we sold the Brewzilla. We sold the Brewzilla to our buddy Danny. Our Irish Danny boy. We sold it to him.
Danny boy.
I don't know if he's still brewing. Haven't heard from him in a while, but I know he loved it when he got it. So all that to say, Landon, you're in good company if you get an all-in-one for 5 gallon. If you do a Herms, the only con, in my opinion, to our Herms is the real estate it takes up. That's it. That's all I can. Maybe if it's not in your budget too, Herms vessel systems are objectively more expensive every time because there's more to it. A control panel, 3 vessels, all that stuff. They're going to be more expensive. But if you're looking to easily brew, enjoy the hobby, and all that stuff, and staying within a budget, get the Brewzilla, my friend. I think you'll love it. And if anyone watching at YouTube, what are you laughing at?
They have a 100-liter one now.
Oh wow, I didn't see that.
Generation 4. Yeah, you can brew 20 gallons.
That good for that. If you're doing an all-in-one like that in that volume, you're gonna need a winch to lift up the basket for you, aren't you? Like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it has one.
Okay, who the heck can lift? My pop and I.
Oh wow, you're right.
I hurt my neck sometimes when we do our brew day lives. I sometimes am in pain, but I can't let my pop know because I'm young. And he's like, "Hey, do you need help lifting that?" Of course I don't. Like doing the breakfast stout or some other big bodied beer. Oof. But anyways.
No, I'm looking at it. They show 2 guys lifting the thing out. So maybe they don't. I mean, I would definitely have to have a winch for that.
Yeah. Or you'd have to have a brew buddy, like the photo showing.
Yeah. All my brew buddies have as bad a backs as I do. So I wouldn't be able to, it wouldn't work.
They do. One of my favorite things I hanging out with.
I would probably go to a 3-tier before I did that.
Yeah.
I agree. No, you're right.
That's a big setup.
If you're going to brew in that size, like what y'all are doing, where Todd is pumping out, and I always butcher it, 17.9 gallons. I forget what you're pumping out most batches. It's
no, it holds 9. It didn't hold 19, I believe.
Or is it 19.9?
So so I do
a nice slow roll.
Yeah, I do 17-gallon batches. I can do a 17.5 gallon batch. Yes,
that's what it is. Yeah, 17.5. If you're going to be brewing in that, the guys say get a Herms. Do we even have any brow? If someone listening was like, I want a brow tide, do we have any? Like,
of course we do.
Okay, I didn't know if we had any more. I have no idea. I know we didn't reorder. Okay, so if they want to order one, call 325.
No, they're on the website. So
they are still on the website. I didn't know. I thought we removed them at some point. Okay. Hey, don't be. If you want to order a brow tide, Landon, hit us up or just go to catconnection.com and do it that way. So thank you so much for submitting the question. A reminder, my friends, When you email, call, text, whatever to us and leave a question that I take on a future episode, you get yourself a gift card to catconnection.com. But we would still prefer you to call it in because I love voicemails. So call it in to 325-305-6107. Right now, guys, is when I'm basically kicking off a bunch of we don't have to elaborate on a lot of these. I'm just loading up this episode with questions. It's our 10-year anniversary. The next one's an email from our buddy Steven, and he wrote it a while ago. But he said, "Hey, Joshua, I've been brewing from kits for a while, but I really want to start making my own recipes. Where should I start? Are there any good resources or basic formulas I should follow to build a recipe from scratch?" Steven, I'm going to give the question to James first, because every recipe I brew is either from Lorena or James. James, what do you think about starting a recipe from scratch?
Oh, no, it's easy. Just go online. You can also, I think one of the books, The Joy of Homebrewing, you can get that. That gives you kind of the basics on how to set up a recipe. You've always got your base malt. That's like your foundation for a house. And then you have your adjuncts. And then, let me back up. You have your roasted malt, and then you have your hops. But get a good book about it and read it. There's probably some instructional videos on YouTube about how to set up a basic recipe for a beer, or just go into Brewer's Friend. That's a good resource for me, because they have the BJCP guidelines built in. So if you're wanting a specific style, and you can play around with your grains and your hops, and you can compare to where it compares with actually the guidebook. So there's a lot of resources. YouTube, Brewer's Friend, there's publications that you can get probably on Amazon, or maybe you can go to audible.com. But I like to have it in my hand as a reference. So you could probably do an ebook, but it's probably easier if you just buy the book, because in that book, The Joy of Homebrewing, they have recipes. They talk about what are the differences between base malts and roasted malts, and there's lots of good information there.
And I'd also, piggybacking on your answer, if you know there's a specific style you want to deep dive in, most people have written a book, or some people have written books on those specific styles, like Horst Dornbusch's book on alt beer. There it is for people watching at YouTube. Great resource and a ton of variety for you to try. And I'm going to throw it to Todd now, because Todd is kind of the king of tweaking recipes. I almost said twerking. Todd is the king of twerking recipes, getting low, where
y'all should send me twerk a recipe sometime. It's pretty incredible, really.
Dollar bills just flying from that recipe.
We'll have to record that.
But Todd, you will take even if it's a recipe you may have done, and you don't necessarily reinvent the wheel on a style. You just tweak it to where the end result is something you like, and then you just consistently brew that. So starting from scratch, I'm not going to discourage Landon from doing it, but you don't have to make good beer. You could tweak an existing recipe to your liking and just stick with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when I create a recipe, it's out of necessity. So sometimes I've got ingredients, and I'm like, these are the ingredients that we have available right now, and I want to brew this style of beer. So what I will do a lot of times is I will pull up, let's say I'm going to brew a brown ale, like an American brown ale or an English brown ale, whichever one it is. I will pull up 20 recipes and look at what they did, and I'll look at a lot of them, and I'll be like, that's ludicrous what they're using in there. That's not going to be a good brown ale. And it's just from looking at it and using the ingredients long enough, that's way too much of this grain. It's going to be too bitter, or it's this. But you will find that if you look at several really good recipes, they will almost always be very, very similar, because that style of beer that's just kind of how you brew it. So, and then you can kind of say, what do I have, and what hops do I have available, and then make a recipe that works around your ingredients, which is what it boils down to again for me a lot, is what ingredients I have available, and what substitutions I can make so that I get a good recipe on it. Another thing I've noticed a lot when I'm looking at recipes is that you will find recipes when you're in Brewer's Friend or any program like that, and you pull up a particular style. As I kind of mentioned earlier, you will find some recipes that are absolutely not that style. And it's kind of amazing. They're like, I'm brewing a brown ale, and you read the recipe and you're just like, that is not a brown ale. It's not going to look like a brown ale. It's not going to taste like a brown ale. So you do have to be careful. You don't want to just find 10 recipes and say, this is, I'm going to take parts of all of this and brew something. You want to kind of see what the pattern is and what makes it that style of beer. And then you can develop the recipe that you want.
Yeah. James will vouch for this. The BJCP guideline book is great to have if you're diving into the realm of recipe creation, because it gives you the starting point and what that style, I'm doing air quotes, needs to have, but I shouldn't even do air quotes because that's literal, like what it needs to have. And one other guide I always like that James has, all this is online too, guys, but James has the physical versions. I like physical medium. I can go into James' office and say, hey, we are out of Willamette. What is an adequate substitute? He gets out the hops book, which I forget what vendor or who wrote it, and be like, let me look. Oh, okay. East Kent Goldings, or I'm making that up, even though off the top of my head, I think that's a substitute for Willamette. But yeah. See, he has all this stuff, the BJCP guidelines of every style and all that, where I'm dragging this out, Stephen, is that you don't got to reinvent the wheel. There's no glory for, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to invent a new thing today. You could and have fun and whatever you want, but just drink the beer you like and then go, I want to brew it, and then look up how to brew it and be happy. We do that with cooking, right? I've never once taken credit for tweaking the recipe of spaghetti. No, it's noodles and it's meat sauce and
yeah, you're right. It is spaghetti is spaghetti, although people make it 1,000 different ways. I was going to mention one other thing. One of the funniest things, I really wanted to do a Sierra Nevada clone one time, and I spent like an hour looking at all these different recipes and what people did, and things didn't make sense, and I was getting more and more confused. They have the recipe on their website.
That's why I'm laughing, because I know that they they have it available. Yeah.
So eventually I end up on their website, and I'm like, they actually have the recipe right there. So you just never know.
James got the Schlussel recipe from the head brewer there. Did you not?
Yeah, he sent it to me. He just wouldn't tell me about the yeast. He said the yeast was proprietary, but he sent me the recipe.
Yeah, exactly. Just ask. It'll be there. But anyways,
It's probably Dusseldorf yeast, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll go hang out in Dusseldorf and capture the yeast and try to sneak it back to the United States. Actually, it's probably not airborne in there, but anyway, no, it might be. They do open air still, don't they? They do. I know it's proprietary and it's a clean room and it's closed, but originally it was all open air to the environment of the local.
No, he said they still do open fermentation.
Yeah, incredible. That's incredible that they can be.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so incredible. I almost don't believe him, but Germans don't lie. So that old saying, honest Abe and honest German or something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm rapid firing this. Jonathan, thank you so much Stephen. Our next question is actually a text message from our buddy Jonathan. You guys have been brewing for a long time. I have to ask, what's the best homebrew beer you've ever made? Anything you're especially proud of? It's a good 10-year anniversary kind of question. I'm going to answer for you two. That not California Common, the ESB that y'all did on the Cooler Brew that we have a video of on our channel was my favorite beer y'all have collectively brewed. That batch, oh, it was so good. It was one of the best beers to this day. And the fish might be this big because it's been 7 years or 5 years since y'all did that video. That's my favorite batch of y'all's, but I won't answer for you. James, do you have, of all the many years you've been brewing, do you have a batch that sticks out? Like, I really wish I could recreate that again.
Yeah, I think that Blondus Alt was probably one of the best beers I brewed. And I've tried to rebrew it, and it just, I guess I didn't take good enough notes because I've not been able to brew an alt like that. That was my favorite alt.
And it was an accidental alt, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I forgot to put the really, really dark roasted malt in it. So the color came out a little lighter, but man, it was good.
It was like a Kolsch with a tan, but tasted just like an alt. I mean, it was
It did, yeah.
If you had put it into a contest, they could have only docked points from the color. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, because it was spot on. I agree with you. That's probably the best alt you've brewed. It's probably way better than the alts. My pop and I can't get an alt down. But Todd, do you have a batch of yours that sticks out? And I mean, you just brew good beer. I don't want you to look smug at us. I hate that. Where you're just like, every batch I brew has been exceptional.
Oh, I'm still trying to create that perfect batch. I'm still working on it. I have no idea. I mean, I don't really have a favorite I've ever brewed. I don't.
I know James's favorite.
I can tell you exactly which one was the best.
It was 5 months
he did
ago.
A Versteiner Pils that was dead on, exactly like the commercial beer.
James,
and that's to this day, that's the best homebrew beer I've ever had.
The 10-year anniversary shows the time to tell you we poured Warsteiner into that keg and served it to you. I'm sorry that you had to find out this way.
That's what it tasted like. I mean, I don't know. I tried to recreate it. He gave me the recipe. That one has first wort hopping. I did that. I did the water salts, all of that, and I just could not recreate what he did.
It's public on Brewer's Friend if anybody wants to brew it.
You just read my mind. I was about to ask, can you make it public on your brewer? It's the Keg Connection Brewer's Friend, by the way, guys. I don't know if I can repost.
I thought it was under your name, Todd.
I think it's under my name.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I always thought you used the Keg Connection Brewer's Friend. You have your own Brewer's Friend under your name. Okay. Todd Burns.
Yeah.
Look that up.
Yes.
It's under
I don't
Todd
know
Burns.
what- I don't
I
know
always
Send me the link and I'll
go
put
to
it.
when.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when-
that's my default. If I don't know what else to brew, I just want to brew that one.
I think he called it Mine Pilsner is the name of it, I believe.
Yep.
Right, Todd? It's mine.
Yeah, well, I can't log in right now. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Anyway,
I had Lorena kick you out. Yeah, I was getting tired of you having the best account. Yours is Lifetime. No,
mine is Lifetime, but I changed my email address. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
But it shouldn't matter because they don't know I changed it.
They don't at all, but it would be funny. Anyways,
I will do it again. And
I'll say this isn't publishing for a week. I will bug you day after day until you give me the link to the mine. I'll find
I'm going to reset it right now. So I don't know what's going on.
No worries, but we will make sure it's public, friends. And Jonathan, thank you so much for submitting the question. Moving on, question 5. Y'all can see it on the PDF I sent you. He didn't give me a name and he didn't reply to my text, but from Mr. 870 area code, hey, Homebrew Happy Hour, I see a lot of recipes calling for super specific mash temperatures. How much does mash temperature really affect the final beer? If I'm off by only a few degrees, will it make a huge difference? James, I'm going to say temperature on the hot side of a brew day is the most important thing to hit. But if you're off by a few, tell us what happens if you're off by a few on the low end and if you're off by a few on the higher end.
On the low end, you stay in the beta. You've got to be under 149 degrees, and that keeps you in the beta. That's those small sugar chains. And then when you get to 150 to like 159, that's alpha. That creates those long chains. So if you're just mashing in the alpha range, not all that's fermentable. So you're going to end up with more body and you're going to end up with more sweetness. Mouthfeel, you can contribute that to like carapils if you want something smooth, or like oatmeal. But if you're looking, specific mash temperatures can affect the amount of sugars that can be fermented. So you want to stay cooler in the 140 to 149 range. That's beta. That's going to be fully fermentable, but it'll create a drier, thinner beer. If you go on the alpha, that'll create a more body in the beer, also more sweetness. If that's something you want, then you could go in that range. A happy medium is like 150 degrees. A lot of our recipe kits, we suggest either 150 or 152, but I like a drier beer, so I'm mashing mainly in the beta range, the 140 to 149. I just like that in the beers that I brew, and we all know I'm just brewing pills. So, I'm not going to brew a big body pills. I can't imagine how nasty that would taste.
You don't know till you try. Okay, pal?
Ugh. Yeah.
That's the most genuine ugh I've ever heard on this show. You know what? I promise you guys, I don't get commission. I'm not even going to put a link to it. But one thing I love about Grainfather's app, it tells us when we put in the style, hey, we noticed this style calls for 148 or whatever. Perfect. Let's do it. And then a lot of the styles, especially the German ones, it's like, hey, we're going to step mash because we think that'll kind of enhance the style. It's not literally saying this. It's just assumed by the way it programs it. And it's like, perfect. We're doing a Kolsch. Yeah, we're going to do an hour at 148, 149. It's going to step mash for 10 minutes at 156, 159. And those have been our best batches yet. And we've been doing them all under pressure using Dieter from Imperial. And it's just this winning combination. But I'll reiterate to 870 area code guy, I think it's extremely important to be as close, not just a wide ballpark, but as close to very specific mash temps as possible. Because like James said, it will have an effect on the final result. If you're too high, too low, and you're expecting a dry beer, but I did it in the alpha. Yeah, sorry, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, you need another thing to bring up is calibrate your thermometer. And if you have one that can't be calibrated, throw it away and get one that you can. Because sometimes those will get off. And Todd's he's real good about checking temperatures. And I think you ran into a couple times where it was way off.
Way off. Yeah, absolutely.
And that can make a huge difference. So the problem with that is if you're like, James, I did exactly what you said, but it's still big bodied and sweet. And then I have to say, well, did you calibrate your thermometer? And they're like, well, what is that? Well,
that's a great point.
You could be off 10 degrees. Ooh. You could be off to where it's not producing any sugars. You know, if you get over 170, it's not going to do anything. So it's important to have a thermometer that you can calibrate. And the laser ones, we've had a couple, and they never read exact temperatures.
No,
so
the laser ones are garbage for this. I
think they're ballpark, but that's a broad ballpark.
You're right. You're right. And garbage is hyperbolic. I just meant they're never close enough for me to be comfortable.
Not enough for brewing. Yeah.
Right. But even, I have a candy thermometer out there and a meat thermometer. And the meat thermometer, I don't know how digital thermometers get calibrated or not. It was way off. Thankfully, I found that out during cooking, not during brewing. And because my wife, what was I making? Pork chops or something. I was like, it cannot be this low still. How the heck is it still this low? Got a different thermometer. Like, I'm way over where I needed to be. I knew I was, but that thermometer, for whatever reason, I replaced the batteries, couldn't get it back. I did when I calibrate. I say calibrate. When I check the accuracy of my digital ones, it's in a thing of ice, right? Or water, ice water.
And you pack a glass as much ice as you can get in it, and then fill it up with water, and then set it for 32 degrees. That's the way I do it.
Yeah, same here. And I think you or Todd taught me that. Everything I do is from you two, so I can't take credit for anything. But you'll notice though, James, I haven't texted you on a brew day in a very long time. I'm growing up.
You've been brewing a lot.
I'm growing up.
What it takes.
Yeah, it is what it takes. Yeah. That is exactly what it takes. But Todd, do you have?
So I did send you that link, by the way.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you got
and the only thing I would say on the thermometer thing is, you do definitely want to calibrate them, but it's really nice to have a really good lab thermometer that is accurate to calibrate everything else too.
Yes, you do.
And what's the name of the company that we
Kessler?
Kessler.
Kessler, Kessler.
Kessler. They had another name too, but
no. It was Kessler is the one. You gifted me a Kessler lab calibrated thermometer 2 years ago or 18 months ago.
All right, and I don't know. They actually have a website, but I think other people sell them too. They're not cheap, but in the grand scheme of home brewing, they're not that expensive.
Well, and like James said, on something that's this important, you want to be accurate. So if you don't have a thermometer you can calibrate, get one you can.
And they call it a safety blue thermometer, I believe.
I don't remember that. I probably threw away the packaging, but we use it frequently. We have the one that's on board the Grainfather, and then a candy thermometer, and then the Kessler if we absolutely have to trust or test if what's accurate and what's not. Because again, just reiterating how important temperature is on all sides of brewing, hot side and cold side. And that's a whole different ballpark on cold side because, you had pressure and this. But to wrap up, no name, Mr. 870 area code Stain, mash temperature does matter a lot. If you have feedback, leave it in the comments below if you're watching at YouTube, or if you are listening, as the vast majority of you do, call in your feedback to 325-305-6107. If it's good enough, if it's a Marty from Omaha good enough feedback, I'll play it on a future episode, and you'll get yourself a gift card to KegConnection.com. Like our last question, I said rapid fire, and I've been dragging them out, but this is the last question. It was a text message from our buddy Jared P., and he wrote, "Hey Joshua, I feel like my home brews always end up thinner than I want. What are some ways to add more body and mouthfeel to a beer? Keep up the great work." James, you were kind of touched on mouthfeel and body. If should he try mashing a little bit warmer to try to enhance, to get rid of that thinning thing? Should he boil down to get rid of that?
No, you can do either one. But if he's doing all grain brewing, try mashing or splitting up your mash. Keep it simple. Just try it at 152 and see what happens. Because I think that's going to create enough body, but it's not going to be cloyingly sweet. If you get up there and you just mash in the like 155 range, you're going to create a really sweet, chewy beer. So I would a couple things: either mash at 152 or split it up and do 30 minutes at like 145, and then ramp it up to 155 and do another 30 minutes.
Yeah, and there's a reason why 90% of the recipes out there are at 152, right? I mean, it's a great temperature.
Yeah, it's a good fallback for but make sure going back to the other question, make sure your thermometer is calibrated, because you want to be right at the 152.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, how much temperature matters, because if it's off, like you said, you're going to get a chewy beer. And God forbid you find Todd's Mine Pilsner recipe and then you get a chewy pills. We're going to get another from James if we talk about it too much longer, because it's just not a good thought. But
the only time that would be something that you would want to focus on body and sweetness is if you're doing a stout. A lot of the stouts, they call for that because that's the style. Because you got to remember, there's lots of caramel and dark roasted malt. So that big body and sweetness kind of offsets that, along with there's quite a bit of hop additions. So the hop bitterness is elevated in a stout. So that kind of complements with the hop bitterness and the body and all of that. That kind of all works together and makes a good beer. You definitely wouldn't want it in a Pilsner where something was really light.
Yeah. Something I just thought of that I want your input, James, and you may say it's not that big of a deal. We talked about the rule of thumb, a safe temperature, 150, 152. What's the rule of thumb for water to grain ratio? Because could he be using too much water?
With our machine, our Brautag, we do 1.5 to 1. So we do 1.5 quarts to 1 pound of grain of water, just so that we have enough. We don't want it so thick that it doesn't circulate through the false bottom. So that's where I always start at. But there's a lot of people that go up to 2 quarts of water per pound.
Oh, wow.
That's a little thin for my taste, because you also want to, especially if you're doing a big beer, you only have so much capacity in your system. So if you go too thin, then you can't do big beers because there's no room left in the pot.
When I was thinking, like, we don't have all the variables, but he could be doing too much water to grain, and he could always try adjusting that, as well as making sure his temperatures are, at the 152 range, right? I mean, like, it's not mutually. Well,
I mean, it all boils down to gravity and where you're at the end. So if he's running too much water, he's going to see it immediately when he tests the gravity. So if he's way down on gravity, he'll be down on alcohol. So a lot of people, like a session beer, you're going to be in the 3.5% range. But I like to be in the 4.5 to 5 range. That's my perfect range. And if I'm not there, I'll boil down.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to sacrifice the end product for, the feel. I get it. So Jared, last question and last plea to those who are watching or listening, preferably if you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, while you're there, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, more importantly, leave a comment actually, because that really helps the algorithm, and we're trying to add more. We just did that video upload of Todd, of our CMB CS10. And we'd love for y'all to check out that video. It is a fascinating faucet. The design Europeans come out with is always very elegant. And the functionality of it, including both the encapsulated piston and that shaft and seal unit, I don't know what you call it, but either way, the keeping it forward seal and flow control and all that stuff. It's an interesting faucet. You could see that at our YouTube channel. Even though I probably should have put it on the CM Becker YouTube channel now that I'm thinking about it. I could do both. We could do both. We got to grow the CM Becker presence online as well. But anyways, if y'all have any questions, feedback, whatever, you know the hotline. It's 325-305-6107. We'd love voicemails. Text messages are fine. I am drowning in emails and texts, so voicemails preferred. Gentlemen, that's all I have for this episode. I appreciate y'all's time, and I will see y'all soon.
Yep, it was fun. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss, again, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could email me, you could text me, but even better, call it to 325-305-6107 and get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. Big breath, because thank you to our sponsors like Munton's Malt. Premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already using Munton's, why not? And give them a try by joining the Trub Club at a recipe receiving level for the best hops available online. Give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. One last plea, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.